Namaste, beloved ones, and welcome.
Hey guys, welcome. We are so glad that you are here. And if you've been hanging out at YouTube, we are really grateful. Thank you. And if you're just finding us now, well, perfect timing. And it was fascinating because for the first, it was literally, and we have the recording, it was at 11:11 our time when we were notified that we were not broadcasting. And it was an interesting moment. So those first 11 minutes of today's show, we are going to put up at our Facebook. And so over at YouTube, somebody jump in and give them that Facebook so they know how to find us. Yep. Also, make sure we are broadcasting. And remember that at any time during the show, you can ask us a question, but there is so much to share that we need to just keep going.
Well, absolutely. And so thank you for joining us. We were on a roll, but somehow or other, the restream didn't happen. So Here we are. And beloved ones, welcome to this time of upliftment, this time of truly calling forward the essence of who you are, and that is high vibrational.
Extremely. Give you the quick recap. Let's remember that we are here in March, and that this moment right now, this Sunday, this day of illumination, the 13th, is the 5-day ignition to the second full crystalline moon. And this second full crystalline moon is going to be the connector. So what does that mean and why is that important? And again, guys, I'm going through this a little fast because you really want to go ahead and go to our Facebook where we'll post that first 11 minutes. What you're seeing here is February, March, April. February is that point at the bottom left, and that was that moment of ignition. And what I want to jump ahead to is what has happened. Because with the full moon up levels, this is the energy of right now. And I want you to look at this. Remember that 2022 is all about what? It is about the six and the infinite. And that is what March is. March in and of itself is the 6. And when we look at these rapid full moon up levels that we are now experiencing every month this year, remember up there in the top left, I put a note for you. In January 2022, that was that first full moon up level within this experience of potentiality, and it set the stage. The entire premise or the entire field of consciousness, this entire moment is about, can humanity survive dogma? And I want you to really breathe that in, because that is the energy that ignited in this moment of potentiality that we co-creatively experience as 2022. And then in February came a unique moment, because it was the first of 2 crystalline moons in a row, and it is the only time we see something in a row, which means it is an amplification of an amplification. And it would make sense that it would happen between these 2 full moons, because as you can see right up near the top there, where I added kind of a violet energy right before you enter that ring going in there, that's all about when we had this incredible superior conjunction of Jupiter. That golden ray of light is illuminating the heart of humanity. And as we soar in, as we have been soaring from February, remember that February was what? It was about the beginning of the energy. We're adding the energy of acceptance into the field of a year experience of whether or not humanity can survive dogma. Remember, that's at the essence of this entire year. And so in February, the energy of acceptance started coming in around that. So as you hold the transcendent field of the sea of neutrality, then what was happening in February, and go to our website and read these articles. In February, it was about, can humanity accept this alchemical transformation? We are in a moment of alchemical transformation because we are already in a state of consciousness beyond where we have ever been before. And Shri has a lot to share about that. And that's why we zoomed right in here, because what's happening right now when we hit this Friday the 18th, when that second of the two comes in, it will stabilize and anchor what we have all been holding on to, right? It's been a month, right? Everything has come forward for everyone. But when we hit this full moon, it will be all about, in the energy of acceptance, the expansion of consciousness. And again, the reason I'm bringing in all those pink hues is because everything that will happen between the March and April, and remember, this was all happening in the energy of what? Forgive them, they know not what they do. Love them, they know not what they do. Each one of these beautiful, beautiful spirals that appear to us as circles in this experience of now is an experience of the sea of neutrality. So in March, it's about that expansion of consciousness. The acceptance of the expansion of consciousness is what is being woven as we dive toward that April full heart moon, which is going to anchor this moment from February 16 to April 16. So that's a really big moment. And Shri, there's two ways we can take the show right now. We can either, and there's a part of me that wants to jump into what's happening at the museum again, because what you have to share about consciousness is so important. Or we can share what's happening in consciousness and then go back to the museum.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know our goddesses are in the museum in a sacred ritual right now.
Yes.
And it was when we cut to the museum a few minutes ago, we discovered there was a flaw in the YouTube
At 11:11, gotta
so
note
let's
that.
kick that back up, and then we're going to come to the consciousness of this time later in the show.
And so just to pick you up, you're going to want to go to our Facebook and watch those 11:11 minutes. These 5 goddesses are in the moment right now of working with a sacred San Pedro offering that was harvested this morning, that is singing, and that they are preparing on this day of eternal wisdom.
Absolutely.
So let's bring them in.
Let's bring them in. There they are.
Wow, there they are. Wow. Hi, everybody. Welcome again. Hey, look at those blue. I want to see everybody's blue gloves. Oh my gosh. And is that a heart, Kyla? Look, Kyla's got a little San Pedro heart. You all have those beautiful blue gloves. You look gorgeous. So Jess, I know you're peeking in around there. Tell us what's going on. What's happening? You're in the Waka Museo, right?
Yeah, here we are in the Waka Museo in this incredible space. What a sacred energy and container for harvesting, processing, being with our San Pedro. And in this moment, you're seeing, beautiful Kyla, Donna, Dana, and Ami in the midst of processing here and looking at how beautiful these are, these pieces as we process. The color, can you see the color on the camera? I'm hoping you see us all right.
Yes.
You know, Jess, I want to jump in.
Truly beautiful.
We need a close-up of that necklace on Kyla, because that is a handmade beaded piece of art. And we were so blessed that when the Kanyari were here yesterday, they brought, and we still have some of these sacred pieces here for those of you that are coming, but those are kala lilies, right? Those are kala lilies. That's what they look like. They're beautiful.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow. And yet it feels
they say
like
that this takes like 2 months to make. It takes 2 months to make that necklace.
Yeah,
she shared with us.
Gorgeous. So keep going. Let's introduce. Let's see everybody else. So who's doing what? I see like Dana's getting ready to maybe to take a wax off, and Donna's at another. Ami, tell us about what's going on, guys.
What are you doing here, Dana?
So here we have the wax that is on the outside of the San Pedro, and it's kind of like a cellophane that keeps the moisture into the plant and holds it all in there. And we have that there, and you can kind of easily pull it off. And that's the medicine.
That beautiful green underneath.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that with us. And again, I want to share with all of you that on this magical day of the 5, on this magical day of the bounty of our cosmic presence, as we're moving into this moment of consciousness and all that's coming forward in March, I don't think it's any accident that this beautiful being is in your beautiful hands today. Jess, what's Ami doing? I know she's sitting right there next to Dana.
Yeah.
she's placing the cut pieces on to be dehydrated, and they'll take probably about a day or so to make sure they're properly dehydrated.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I saw Donna down at the other end. Donna, hi, sweetheart. How's this going for you? Hi, honey.
Wonderful. I am removing the stickers out of the plant before peeling the wax off and then cutting it and trimming it. So that's what I'm doing.
Wonderful. You know, pick up, I see right in front of you, there's a piece there that has just like a little cutout. Maybe explain how you got that you're cutting little sections, right?
Right. Yes. So as you can see, it's almost like, you know, the leaves, how they're cut. It's like a star. And so we're taking one section at a time to cut out the center part, which would make you ill. Fortunately, thanks to Shri, we know this. And then we're trimming it, so getting it ready to go on the trays to be dried. Then it can be ground into the powder that gets ingested and is so beautiful and supportive for the body and for the journey.
And ill as far as nausea, right?
Nauseated.
Yeah, it would just make us nauseated, not ill. Yeah, just
it's about
nauseated.
the joy. Well, thank you all. We're so grateful to have connected with you live from the museum, and you all look beautiful. The museum looks so welcoming and wonderful, and I do encourage everyone when you get here, check out the Waka Museo. It's pretty amazing what's in there.
Thank
Wonderful.
you, ladies.
Thank you. We love you. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And so I want to remind all of you that remember that over at YouTube, if you have questions for Shri and I, we have a lot more to share with you right now. But if you have questions for Shri and I, put them in the chat over at YouTube. And now that Jess has been free to continue working on that beautiful harvest, she will be in that chat getting those questions to Shri and I.
Yeah.
And so Shri, I want to go back to one of the graphics that I just had up. I just want to share this because this is last year. And I want to remind all of you that today is that moment of that 5-pointed star of eternal life. To remember that this was all of last year. So as we are right here, right now, entering into this March moment, I want you to really bring your hands to your heart. And I'm going to ask Shri to read this quote from the Blue Star Board. If it's safe to close your eyes, just close them. Just take a moment right now. Take a moment right now and remember that you're ready for this moment. There isn't anything happening around you. There isn't anything going on that you cannot handle. And in this 5 moment last year and all that you've been through, everything that brought you here now is saying, here you are. You are the 5-pointed star of eternal life.
Let's take a breath together. So, within the energy of the true 5-pointed star, there is no separation, no judgment. There is only the unification, the understanding, and your cosmic upliftment.
When you stand with your feet at your shoulders width and your arms straight out, you become and remember yourself as the 5-pointed star.
Your leg is 1 point. Your other leg is the 2nd point. Your arm is the 3rd point, and your other arm is the 4th. Your head is the top or the 5th point. What is in the middle? Your heart. Breathe deeply and experience unification.
Breathe deeply and experience unification as the amplification of the eternal presence of the living Ankh that you are. I want you to really breathe that in. And as you do, I'm going to put up the Ascended Numerology for March again, because this is really important. I want you to look at the physical body right now. Remember that 6 that allows us to be that vessel of creation on the wheel is literally the vessel, the womb of creation of the physical body. And it is all about balance. And as this mastery presence moment comes before you, as everything is around you, if you look at the body, remember that the number 5 represents truth. And so in this day, in this moment of illuminating presence, as we are getting ready for humanity to anchor the first of the 4 harmonic flows this Friday, it's all about the 9, which is the high heart, right? This Friday, March 18, 2022, that second full crystalline moon will anchor. And this is just the first of the 4 harmonic flows of 2022. And it's going to be all about the high heart. And then that energy is going to lift all the way up into the lotus chakra of ascended manifestation, that 8 on the equinox on the 20th. Now, as you're breathing that and as you feel all that's birthing, lifting through the vision and the wisdom of your high heart, that's that superior conjunction of Jupiter. That's why I'm saying it's all about the gold right now. Your high heart and your star consciousness are right now being invited to guide, to lead, and for you to trust that. It's that polarity of free will, fear or trust. And when you look at the wheel, I want you to notice how bombarded the 8 is and how much work the 9 is doing this month. So that 8, which is what's going to happen on the equinox at that one moment of union, look at how much energy is surrounding it this month, and look at how the 9 is working with energies that are moving toward it and against it and through it. And it's one of the 4 anchor points. Remember, there are 4 anchor points, the 12, the 6, the 9, and the 3. And we have that double 6 that shot straight up to the 12 that has said to all of us, that is really calling in this stunning week through your eternal illuminated presence, I am here. I am here. And nothing can stop that. And to start dancing in the knowing of that, rather than, wow, I'm getting stuck in the muck of that which is trying to stop me, whether it's my own ego or whatever other perception density is throwing at me. How about, oh my God, there's the finish line. I just got a second wind. And the miracles start happening. And I can share with you through my own miracle, our own miracles that happened yesterday. Shri being here physically with Alexander in sacred ceremony, unplanned, while I'm on in a similar sacred ceremony with Chief Phil, unplanned. This moment for you, gaze around. What in me invited this to be? Stay in that I am here, and then notice what happens to your consciousness. Because Shri, it's all about levels of consciousness right now, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is. And, there's some discernments that I want to share with you. But before I unpack that fully, I want you to glance at this chart that combines David Hawkins' work on levels of consciousness with our work on the ascension process. The self-ascension goes through stages, you could say, or environments that we live through. And the thing that's really important to take note of is that if you see the red line on the chart right at 200, everything below 200 is actually a negative energy that the people who are holding that level of consciousness don't even perceive it as negative. Pride, anger, desire, fear, apathy, guilt, shame, all of those frequencies are positions, their attitudes, their judgments about the world, and they're very much self-defeating. They inhibit your lift. So I would ask you, where is the level of consciousness that would invite a armed conflict? It's way down there in the pride and the anger and the desire zone. And then where is the level of consciousness that would invite a negotiation or a resolution of a conflict? It's necessarily higher. It could be anywhere higher But it's real important that we remember our friend Einstein, who said that solutions are not found at the level of consciousness that is supporting or creating a problem.
So breathe that in. And I think what's so important here is if you have read any of our books, if you've gone to our website, shrinkara.com, and I really encourage you to do so, you'll learn about this pyramid of spiritual awakening. And this is why the voice of passionate action that has been the blessing that we have had of championing for now our 20th consecutive year is the gift that invites us to remain in the energy of resolution, because it's outside of the energy of judgment.
Yes. So one of the things that has come forward in my recognition quite recently that I want to share with you is that world events, let alone looking deeply at the pyramid of spiritual awakening and understanding the levels of consciousness and how they harmonize there, is that all of the coarser negative frequencies are based in the ego. So let's just consider this for a moment. A personality, whether it's a stage personality, a political leader, or whatever, but a person operating from their personality self can easily decline into very life-defeating frequencies. However, your essence, your soul, does not decline. It merely steps aside and allows this game to play out, because there's wisdom to be gathered from every pitfall, from every life experience. There's wisdom that will feed the ability to commit to your highest expression. So as we look at this balancing act that all of us have to go through, and humanity is certainly demonstrating it right on the world stage right now, that when we invest our illumination, our energy into the egoic shell, we are then governed by the positionality of the ego. When I say positionality, I am talking about that dogma. Dogma does not exist in the environment of the soul. Only love and illumination, embrace, and the joy.
So remember that, right? Because 2022 is Can Humanity Survive Dogma?
So dogma exists at a lot of frequencies because all dogma is a rigid judgment. Dogma is a belief system that is this way, and that it demands conformity to the belief system. So when you have a belief system confronting another belief system, and if they're entrenched in that, then yes, there's sparks, there's conflict, there's disharmony. When we breathe and relax into the love of our ascended nature, we find a solution to worldly issues. And we anchor in the spiritual reality that we can share, that all of us are one and share the same essence. But that's a rather enlightened perspective from the point of view of someone who is really in the lower frequencies. And so it demands the energy of the Christ, the energy that we shared at the beginning of the show. Forgive them. They know not what they do.
Ooh. You know, I want to say love them. They know what they do when I look at these messages. I just wanted to take a moment and celebrate all of you. Jess just sent over some comments from when we were with all of you beautiful ones in the Waka Museo. So Mia says, so beautiful. Thank you, Mia. Angela says, wow, beautiful. Isabella, the amethyst in the back just hit my heart hard. Now remember, those of you that have done the Ave Sa training, those are in your attunements. The two amethysts on either side are the Ave Sa attunement stones that will remain in the Waka Museo until our permanent home is built, when they will move to our private temple. And so they are on temporary display right now at the Waka Museo, along with the grandmother. So yeah, those are very profoundly powerful stones. So I'm glad that you received that energy. Yeah. Sue says, mwah, beautiful crystalline sun, Pedro from the land at Tosa Blue Mountain. So true, Sue. Yes. And again, thank you for singing with Chief Phil yesterday. I hope that you watched the Facebook. All right, to Bhatia, so awesome with some fun little smiley face stars there. And Angela, another thank you, ladies. And again, yes, thank you, ladies, because what is happening all over the world right now, what is happening all over the planet is that, remember, this is all about, in 2021, we ignited as that 5-pointed star. But as our consciousness is growing, remember that in 2022, the energy flow is unique. There is nothing linear about it. And when you gaze out, notice in the middle that pillar, that beautiful pillar, and you see that kind of violet formed, formless, formed, formless. That's the alchemical transformation. And if you gaze out beyond that, you see it's like a kaleidoscope, right? It's a kaleidoscope of alchemical experiences that we have not experienced before. However, they are within the sacred sequences of incarnation that hold open that beautiful eternal presence. And you notice that that water is that sea of neutrality. All of this is when we are navigating the sea of neutrality. But what I want you to notice again right now is up at the top right corner, that beautiful full moon. Because this full moon coming up this Friday matters. And it matters a lot because it's an ignition. It is the moment where we are all coming together. And I really, with all my heart and soul, want to invite you to please go to unifyingvoices.world. And I want to take a moment and kind of sip a cup of coffee with you and celebrate what's happening this Friday, along with this moon up level, and just play a little film for you and invite you to enjoy.
Humanity is at the crossroads of choice, and your choice matters. Our beloved Gaia, in harmony with the universe, is calling for humanity to choose love. Unify with voices around the world for the March Equinox 2022 moment. The answer to the call for all voices to come together as one. The energy of balance and restoration is the essence of the March Equinox. The unified intention of love is calling us all together to receive and share the inspired wisdom on behalf of all humanity. Coming to you from the center of our beloved planet Earth and current home of planetary Kundalini, the Andes Mountains of Ecuador. 3 days of sacred ceremony with lineage holders from around the planet, delivering a unified message for all. Artists, performers, and live music from around the world. This wondrous festival is a homecoming for humanity's heart. Join the live stream, learn more, and register at unifyingvoices.world.
unifyingvoices.world. And I want to share with all of you that this is an event that is beyond anything that has happened before. We want you to spread your blanket out on your living room floor or be outside wherever you can receive your live stream. Be in sacred ceremony. This is a rare opportunity to actually be in ceremony. And remember that, Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern time, Friday night, this Friday, the first hour will also be broadcast right here at YouTube, as well as unify.org will be broadcasting. So we'll be going around the world with extraordinary energy, going through the Saturday ceremonies into the Sunday unified message, where on Monday we will travel together on World Water Day to the Guardiana de la Fe, where out of respect for the all, we will not broadcast live, but we will be filming, and we will be collecting that miracle water on World Water Day. Ida Reset, the head of the Balinese spiritual people, will be there collecting that. That is what she does. And please make a note on your calendar right now. On Tuesday, the 22nd at noon, we will be adding that water with all of the elders that will still be here at Tosa Blue Mountain into the water of the Triple Goddess Lakes. This is a big moment coming up. And our show, the next time we are together, we are literally we're like the post Super Bowl broadcast, because when we end here on Sunday, after we will have delivered that unified message to the world, we will immediately move to this show where we will be interviewing everyone live, where we will be talking about the message that's just been delivered to the world. And remember that during the weekend, we're inviting you to be sending us your contributions as you're experiencing these ceremonies with us. And the minimum donation is $22. And remember, if you wanted to join us live, found out about it too late, or didn't know, register for September right now. Get your reservation if you want to be here live at Tosa Blue Mountain. We are already filling for September because Chief Phil will be here live in September. Faith Rivera will be here live. Beautiful Darshan Joshi, Prani Agarwal, Mohit, all here live. They will be here via Zoom in March, but they're going to be here live for that closing ceremony as well. So we're really putting this in motion.
You know, one of the things I want to stress is I was sharing with you the distinction of the levels of consciousness associated with the investment in your personality self versus fully committing to your ascended mastery, your ascended energy. And that's when we lift. That is the path of self-ascension. And we can do this consciously. We can do this by making a choice, and through your steadfast commitment and your focused awareness and complete trust in your divine nature, your upliftment is assured. Your soul knows the way.
You know it does.
And I want to tie this to the event, because the event coming up at this Equinox weekend is about frequency. It's about radiating the love and relaxing the need to project anything other than I am connected. I am part of this, and I love you, and I love being alive and love being part of this. That radiation is healing, and it's going all around the world. Because one more thing, in those levels of consciousness that see things as subject and object, I'm right, you're wrong, or it's us versus them, or my way or go away, you know, all of those are the training wheels for cultivating wisdom.
Right?
Of course, these polarities exist. They do not need to define you. They are there to illuminate you, to call forth, like polishing a pearl, to call forth your commitment to the ascended energy. And in that, then these events send a radiation out. It's like that harmony of the guitar string that causes another string to sing. We are calling forth to the world a tone of unity that will invite many others to lift. And in that invitation, there's no dogma, there's no demand, there's only the sound of the love saying, join us, be part of this, relax your need to control, and celebrate the need that is your essence.
You know, it is the moment of your multidimensional presence. Remember this moment right now, this anchor ship, and I'm going to go back and put that graphic up one more time. You are being called. Look at what happens when we lift from the 5th to the 7th dimension. When we're in the 5th dimension, we spread our wings. You see that? But if you look around this graphic, you see this cosmic appearance, all of this energy of creation that's coming in. It's about the ability to hold open the sea of neutrality, which you see is when we stand up and own our 7th dimensional witnessing presence, so that we can, if you look right above that kind of outline of a head above the 7th, you notice it splits into a trinity, a field of illuminated presence, sustaining the all so that you lift beyond it into the crystalline essence as the witness again. This moment is happening right now because consciousness is evolving. Now, remember that chart that Sri was showing you just a little bit earlier, and I want you to gaze at this again. This is the pyramid of spiritual awakening. This is the journey. This is the moment that we all go through. It is the pathway of the Yoga of Self-Ascension. It is the moment of illumination where we smile at the recognition of our density consciousness, which is all about me. That then, rather than becoming this continual swing set of emotional roller coasters and repetition lifetimes, we illuminate within enough to discover a way. Yet in the irony of that, it becomes the biggest trap of all. It's the biggest cycle. Because within our spiritual activism, we become addicted to the judgment of the one we, us versus them. Yet through that gift and that expansion, we have the opportunity through the lack of our need to control and our ability to expand consciousness to illuminate our eyes beyond the we into the expansiveness of the all. And that is the moment that happened in 2015. That is why this beautiful 7-year escalator opened. And I want to, before we go any further, Sri, I want to share with you, Lori wrote in, man, I needed to hear this clarity related to what is happening in our world. Thank you, Sri. So I just wanted to take a moment and say, I'm glad you're here. That's why this show exists, right? And then another message forwarded to us, Sri. Sri and Carol, last year I had a dream about a past life 4,440 years ago. It was traumatic, and this trauma would be solved in 2022. Do you think this is coincidence? Well, my love, the first thing I would share is that, do you think being here today is a coincidence, right? It's that moment of trust. And I love that you brought that up, because what Sri and I were just getting ready to talk about, and I just want to remind you again, was, we put this out in 2015. And in 2015, the universe came in and said, look, you're at the literal last minute. You've got 7 years to prepare according to this potentiality and experience of linear time. And the gift of this time is that you are going to be able to start playing with fear and trust. These are the forces of destruction and the force of co-creation in this realm. And so if you look at everything that has happened and you look at 2021, remembering it was that 5-pointed star that Sri and I just shared with you, we knew that we would be at lack or abundance right now. And the blessing is that we have lifted through the experiences of the body of form and are being invited to create right here. To claim I am here through that steadfast commitment, focused awareness, and complete trust. And this is important because remember, it's those 7 polarities of fear and trust. And so to remember that the gift that will sustain you through everything. And Sri and I have walked through war zones. We have been in natural disasters. We have been through this. We get it. And what really, really keeps you going is these are the moments when the universe is saying, look, you're getting ready for something that you never would have seen coming. And so because it's your moment, here's what's going to happen. You are going to be put in a situation, an experience. Everything around you right now is going to say, steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. It's like a mantra within thyself. Steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust. Because what that does is it holds open and sustains the framework of support that unifies the field beyond all gender, where the masculine and the feminine are fully unified, thereby the ignition of the divine master appears and becomes that which is. And I'm trying to show you, let me see, maybe this will show you. There it is. There's that Taurus field, right? That's when you're no longer focused in density at all, because you are the living field of the yoga of self-ascension. You have lifted through into the field of divine unified being, whereby you are the continual generator of that 0-point energy, sustaining through this moment where we are all blessed because we have been here before, only this time we know it. And enough of us are coming forward at the right moment to say yes. And that's why I had tears running down my eyes yesterday when I had the honor of a private time with Chief Phil. Because what I can share with you is that this is happening, and it is a worldwide movement. And you need to be there and help us get more people there Friday night. Be there. Be there.
We always have choice.
Yes.
Choice is the mechanism of awakened consciousness.
Yeah.
And through the choice, we are then cycling through the awareness, the experience, and choosing again. And
Right.
through those cycles, we cultivate our wisdom, our discernment, and we always are expanding the light and love, because choices that are made from ascended consciousness are healing.
Yes.
They are illuminating.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't see the immediate effect of this because we're in a flow.
Yes.
And that flow is one more thing I want to share. The entire world is being asked to move beyond subject, object, us and them, cause and effect. And
out of that spiritual activism.
All of that activistic way of being, which is part and parcel with those levels of consciousness that are the training wheels for your ascended experience and form.
Right.
And we're moving from that particle-based Newtonian subject-object stuff into flow. The flow is the quantum field of dynamic love, where instantaneously things appear that are called for because the energy is just right.
Yeah.
And one of our people in the chat said, hey, is this a coincidence that I'm, my healing experience? No, it's the time.
Right. That's the trust. And that's what brought us full circle into this conversation.
Yes.
Is that it's the moment to trust and to smile and go, oh my God, it's not a coincidence. It is. And I just want to remind you all, because here we are. We are at a moment where March is all about the acceptance. Remember, February, first crystalline moon opens the energy of acceptance. Thereby it hits again in March. Only this time it's the acceptance of the expansion of consciousness in the energy of our co-creative power of the higher 8th chakra. Remember, this is all about the 8th chakra. And so as you get ready to soar through this week, may you be with us every day. Get into our Facebook for the live updates. This is day 5. Be there tomorrow. Remember who you are, and remember to be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Join us. This moment matters.
Yes. So as we come to a close for today at this way of being, let's take a moment and choose to feel our divine connection. And one of the most time-honored gateways is through your breath. So I invite you now to hold the energy of Ave on the inhale, that recognition that the divine is here, and I'm accepting this in. And then we Sa on the exhale. Sa is that open reed, no resistance. I accept this energy. Ave on the inhale, Sa on the exhale. Let's do this together now. Big breath in, Ave. Sa.
And smile. When we smile, we send a signal to the physical body and the universe that all is truly well.
All is truly well.
I am.